Hey everyone, we'll get started shortly. It's gonna wait till the room populates a little bit more. All right. Good morning, good evening, everyone. This is Eric Ma, Chief Evangelist at Deeper Network, and this Twitter Space is being recorded. I know the time we could never find a perfect time for everyone since everyone's all over the world, but because it's recorded, I chose a time that was convenient for me, and people can come back and listen to it. I'm sure some of our supporters will also upload it elsewhere. So today I will be giving the community updates regarding the recent happenings of Deeper Network, and I have a list of things I like to go through. And at the end, I would like, if there's any questions, we have some questions from the community already that we collected, and whoever's here, if they have any questions, we could go ahead and answer those. All right. So the first thing is recently we had an update of our firmware for Atom OS 1.2.1. So this is our latest update, and it was pushed through to all the devices. And it was basically a second release of the big update of 1.2, because previously we were on 1.1. Many renditions of that, I think up to 25 or something. So this update was a pretty big one. There was a huge reorganization of the dashboard and the interface, and there were some things added, a lot of things added to the dashboard as well. So some of the things that were added, better improvements on the ad block. So YouTube, and mostly YouTube, had made some major updates to their kind of ads and how that worked. And so our old ad block system didn't work as well with it. And so a lot of ads were still showing up. And so we had to do a lot of kind of work in reaction to that. And so that has been implemented, and most people have seen a huge improvement, especially on YouTube, for the ad block. And so that's available now. And then also we've updated a lot of the parental controls, and updated a lot of the block lists for parental controls. So a lot of people actually buy these devices for that as well. And then of course the new app relocator tool that is now integrated. So people, this is a really important tool for usability, user experience. So instead of having to set certain tunnels and customize all those things, it makes it a little bit easier for people to do. So now people can just set their Netflix to a certain tunnel, and it will just magically happen. So I think user experience is really important, and we've been focusing on that as we continue to move towards mainstream adoption. Okay, so of course there's still some of the tools that are still there, like Rust Desk. So I think one of the great things Deeper Network tries to bring is value. The devices itself not overly expensive, number one, and you pay once for it. And once you pay for it, you have the available tools that are available now, such as decentralized VPN, as well as parental control, cybersecurity. That's all paid for, and it's there available for you. But the great thing is that we continue to improve upon those tools, and in addition, we will continue to add tools. So the ecosystem is still growing, and there's going to be so much more that's coming. So for the people who are buying these devices, sometimes I think people tend to be a little bit short-sighted, and they think, they're buying this device just to mine, and that is it. But they don't think about all the value that's available within the unit as well, and all the things that are going to be added later. So I like to remind everyone of that as well. And then next thing is, let's see here. We launched our app. So on the mobile app, we have actually a few versions. So we have the Android, we have the for the iOS as well, and we have for the version for Windows, for Macs, and then also the fifth one is for Linux. So a lot of people like to use Linux for open source stuff, and so these 5 versions are currently in beta. And for those of you that have not tried, it's free. So you're basically available. You're able to use our DPN, decentralized VPN, for free during this beta phase, and just simply go to dpn.deeper.network to download the version that is suitable for you. So you can download on multiple devices. Right now, there is no expiration in terms of how long you can use it for. But eventually, once it comes off beta, we will have it on Google Play, on App Store, available for download for Windows, Linux, and iOS as well. So this app is really, really big because it's kind of our mainstream kind of an app for users who don't have devices, but they can still use our services. And it's really kind of a gateway into kind of what we foresee as the ecosystem for Deeper Network, just simply one of the tools. And so it's why we've been trying to build all these nodes. Currently, we have over 100,000 nodes on the network. And we continue to build that. That is the most important thing right now for us, to continue to build it. Because once you have the network, once we have this community, it's really, really unstoppable. And that's the power of decentralization. So with this app, currently it's on beta, like I mentioned, but once it comes off beta and we release it, people will have to, they'll probably get something like, it's not been totally decided, but maybe like 7 days free. And then they can go ahead and pay for it. And it will link them. Right now, the current pay method is through credit card. And eventually, we hope to link up the EZC, which is going to be the burning mechanism for DPR. And that's going to be the credits being used for this app. And eventually with NPOW, all that stuff will be part of the reward system for the new mining system. So you can kind of see how everything is wrapped together there. So the app, so far it's been really, really good, very easy to use. And we've been really happy with how that's been working out so far. So again, you want to try it out, it's free. Go to dpn.deeper.network and share it with your friends. And it's great when you travel as well. If you don't have a device and your VPN doesn't work, or you don't have one available, go ahead and use that. All right. One of the big things we've been working on has been implemented already in the new firmware release is Deeper GPT. So Deeper GPT is our self-built AI version of ChatGPT. But this kind of AI tool is really used for customer support and questions. So, as a part of this expansion in terms of growth on the nodes, with a lot of mainstream users buying the device for different reasons besides mining, they have a lot of questions. So Deeper GPT allows them to have a very centralized, easy way to find information. And so that's right now the first version has been released. It's based on ChatGPT version 3. And when version 4 is released, it will continue to improve as well. So right now it works. It's not perfect, but it's there, and you could kind of see where that's going with. We're going with that. So if you want to try it out, it's actually in AtomOS. You can link to it from there as one of the tabs on the side, or just go to chat.deeper.network. And so we want users who have questions to have a place where they can ask and get their problem solved. Of course, we will still have our awesome customer service team. Our customer service team, I would say, is I confidently say it's one of the best in the blockchain or the crypto world, because a lot of people don't have any customer service. But because we're selling hardware and we have a lot of users who have questions, our team really works hard to try to reply to every ticket that's sent through. All right. Next one we're building a multi-chain hardware wallet. So this hardware wallet is basically embedded in your device at home. So if you have a Mini, it's in the Mini. And so the purpose of building a multi-chain wallet is because we need it eventually for the Deeoer ecosystem. It's going to make it a lot easier for people to manage their tokens. It's actually a lot safer because compared to some of the hot wallets. So, some of the hot wallets out there like MetaMask, IM Token, those are actually in your phone. So if you have these hot wallets on your phone and you lose your phone, and it's very possible that it can be cracked into and broken into, and your funds can be taken out from that. Okay. But with our multi-chain hardware wallet, you could use it with your phone as well. However, the control and the heart of it is actually on your device. So for anything to happen, it needs to communicate with your device, and having that information on your hardware is a lot safer. So enhanced security in terms of that. There's also going to be more efficient transactions, streamlined asset management, okay, allowing for multi-token support, cross-chain interoperability, which is huge for Polkadot. It's going to be able to use it for all sorts of different things, especially with Deeoer Network being a Web3 gateway. It's going to have to access a lot of different Web3 services, whether it's in DeFi or another blockchain for payments. It's also very adaptable and scalable, and the ease of use is going to not only have better user experience, but also save money for the user in the end. Not having to manage multiple wallets and paying multiple fees, having all that stuff in your device is going to be big. And that, in terms of the roadmap, it's already being worked on currently, and we're looking to hopefully release that so you guys can enjoy that by the end of this year. So Q4 of this year sometime. So that's the progress on the multi-chain hardware wallet. Okay, so in the community, I've been seeing some concern about people not really understanding how proof of credit is going to move on over to NPOW. So for those of you that are not familiar, proof of credit is our consensus mechanism, our old one that's still in use, and it's based on sharing your bandwidth to earn credits. And the higher the credits you have, the more you earn. Okay, so that's our consensus mechanism. It's kind of our reward mechanism. But we've also introduced, and we're still testing, the new one, the NPOW. The N stands for new generation. Okay, that's kind of one word. I don't know how, but new generation or next generation proof of work. So as you guys know, Bitcoin and some of the older coins like Litecoin, Monero is based on proof of work, and it's very energy inefficient. It's not very sustainable. So this new next generation proof of work, NPOW, is a consensus mechanism that is going to eventually replace POCR. Okay, and it's going to be based on actual work that's being done on the internet in order to earn rewards. And that still includes sharing, okay? But because it's still new, there is going to be a transition period, okay? So NPOW, I don't see that full transition, the migration over to NPOW happening within even the next year, okay? So there's no worries there, because I know change is hard for some people. So what's going to happen is POCR, the sharing of the bandwidth, the credit score system, is going to be happening at the same time as NPOW. So that's kind of what's been happening actually over the last 4 or 5 months. Testers have been testing NPOW. They've been earning through testing and actual use of how NPOW is going to work. And they've been earning on both sides. So they're sharing bandwidth, earning through staking or sharing bandwidth, and then they're also earning through NPOW. Okay. So eventually it will transfer, migrate over, and everything will be NPOW. Credit scores will still be a factor. A lot of times, or the credit score itself is not confirmed on how it's going to be part of it, but it will basically give people who have high credit scores, the ones that are sharing now and earning organic credit score, it's going to give them priority, and they'll have better opportunities to earn and to win. Basically, essentially, their little contracts to earn certain jobs. So some of the things that NPOW can do, it could be as simple as a price oracle. So with currently 100,000 nodes around the world, each IP can be an individual oracle, basically pulling price from different APIs. So that's how powerful this is, having a decentralized network like this. You know, if you're talking about one of the best, the most well-known, I would say, decentralized oracles right now is Link. And Link only has 21 nodes that are pulling data. 21, that's quite centralized if you actually compare the numbers. And so there's a huge advantage that we have to use NPOW for different things. And for people to build different apps on the deeper chain, that's going to be utilizing the nodes through NPOW. They can really design what they need, whatever services they're trying to offer, and they could reward and encourage people to use their apps through NPOW. So it's quite a big deal, and I just wanted to clarify that there's no immediate change. Sharing is still going to continue for quite a while on both sides, and nothing major there. It's going to be happening anytime soon. We'll continue to develop NPOW, and more information will be given as more development happens. All right. The other one is Genesis. So we have now almost getting close to 2 years of Genesis earnings, and it was agreed upon probably almost a year ago that Genesis was going to be ending on August 28th of this year. So we're about, I don't know, what is it, almost a month and a half, 2 months away. And Genesis, I have some information here regarding, and that's available on the on our posts as well. So Easy Mining, which was a program that was designed previously, is basically probably never going to happen. Okay, Easy Mining was going to replace basic mining, but that's probably not going to happen anymore. So you guys don't have to worry about that. And the halving for Genesis, there will be no halving, sorry, but Genesis will end. So originally there were different options that we were looking at in terms of halving and how we're going to do it. But instead, we didn't have anything. We just gave an additional year to Genesis earnings, and that's going to end August 28th of 2023. Okay, 2 years from its inception. And from there, people who own Genesis nodes will continue to enjoy 10% higher rewards as compared to people who were not Genesis. And compared to basic mining 2.0, they'll earn 10% more. And every 6 months, however, the rewards will drop 1%. Okay. And so, but once it hits 5%, it locks, and you will forever earn 5% more than whatever kind of mining is happening at that time. Okay. And so that's basically what's happening to Genesis. And I mentioned that because I typically don't talk about token price, but I know it's a huge concern for a lot of people. For a project like this, we're basically a decentralized physical infrastructure network project, which is very different from the typical crypto project that is very focused on tokenomics. Tokenomics certainly very important, but building of the infrastructure is a lot more important for us. Okay, so holding these tokens and not selling them in the short term is kind of the goal for these kind of long-term projects. But I understand crypto and a lot of people, they just want, they're kind of a little bit more short term, right? So the token price recently has been kind of progressively continuously declining over the last few months. And obviously there's market conditions that's causing that. But I think one of the major things that's causing that is the high emissions that's happening. And a lot of it is from the Genesis mining, because people in Genesis, some of the Genesis miners are earning as high as 1,100 and I think it was around 40 or 50 DPRs a day. Okay, so yes, they stake a lot and they're earning a lot. And for people who stuck it out, they've earned about 2 million DPR tokens. So a lot of them were holding for quite a while, but because of market conditions, however they manage their finances and their funds, they have been selling consistently. And when you have more self-pressure than buy pressure, obviously the price is going to go down. Okay. So because Genesis is coming to an end August 28th, the emissions will be reduced almost 90%. So that's going to be better for the price. Okay. Some of the other things that are happening is the burning mechanisms and stuff have been implemented in terms of council voting, in terms of council being on the council. You have to stake tokens and burn tokens for when you're voting. And also the EZC hopefully eventually will be integrated, and some of that will happen as well. But I don't know. I don't want to say, everyone has their opinions on token price, but personally, I'm not too worried about the token price. It will go up once things turn around. And so that's kind of where we're at now. I would just say there's a lot of diamond hand out there. Just hold on tight. Have hope in the project. I certainly do. That's why I'm still here. All right, moving on to the next one is Deeper Connect Air. So this is our newest device, and it is the truly portable device, even more portable than the Pico because it doesn't have any cables. It's a USB Type-C connection. You just connect directly into whatever device you're trying to connect to, usually a laptop. And we have been working out a lot of little bugs and trying to make improvements before it hits crowdfunding on Indiegogo. So we've previously launched several different products on Indiegogo, record-breaking results for these products, from the Mini from the Nano to the Mini to the Pico. So all these things, Indiegogo has been a great platform for us, and we're looking to launch the Air on Indiegogo, hopefully by the end of the month. Okay, no promises there, but that's what we're shooting for. And for people who are interested, they could go to Indiegogo, search for it, and get on the waiting list and get more information there. Okay. The Deeper Connect Air is going to be it's going to have, it's going to be faster. It's going to be faster than the Pico. It's going to be, the antenna, everything is kind of integrated. It's more convenient. The range, bit higher range, more stable. Very little heating issues. So it's going to be a super product. The price is going to be probably obviously between the Pico and the Mini, but the price is not totally set yet. But it's going to be somewhere in there. And we have a bunch of KOLs on board that we're starting to onboard for the air. So that's going to be another huge round and hopefully another big step for growth of the network with the release of the air. Okay. The people have been asking about the Deeper Connect Pro. Because of the air, the focus has been on the air, on the Deeper Connect Air and less on the Pro. The Pro, which is going to be the hard drive, decentralized hard drive services that's going to be offered, that will is still on the roadmap, and we're still planning to launch that. But that requires a lot more resources, and also it also requires a much bigger network in order to run it to its max efficiency. So the Pro itself, we'll have more info right now. It's kind of, the team has been focusing more on the air. Okay. But we still do plan on having the Deeper Connect Pro. And I personally very excited to see that one. The Polkadot Hackathon, we were invited by Parity and Polkadot to participate in their hackathon this month in Shanghai. So this is probably their annual, the biggest event that they have. And teams from around the world come, and they have different events and activities that basically build out the Polkadot ecosystem. There's a lot of speeches, so it's kind of like a conference as well as a developer gathering, different contests for developers in the ecosystem. So we've been invited to become a judge. So we're one of the judges, and we're also donating a little bit of money for prize money to encourage people to build on the Deeper chain as well. And we're doing workshops there. Our development engineer team is going to be there to help promote Deeper as well. So we'll explain kind of what Deeper is to a lot of people. So it's further kind of doing more marketing as well. And I think building dApps on the Deeper chain is going to be a long process, but it's important to introduce people and developers into the excitement of DeepIn projects like us. Okay, I'll talk about DeepIn a little bit more later. The investments we received from Emergo has been really great as well. We've been having meetings with Emergo, trying to network more and get connections into what kind of resources they have. So we're still working on that. At the same time, Emergo, for the people that don't know, is the venture arm of Cardano ATA. Okay, so pretty big deal that they invested in us. They see a lot of promise in the project like this. So we're very happy to be a part of their portfolio. And they're also introducing us to other investors that they've worked with. And so we're in close talks with other investors as well. So investors that come and invest in Deeper, it actually helps us obviously with our runway, right? So it gives us more money to develop. We're able to do more when we have more money, but also it gives confidence and more support for the project as well. So these are some of the things that Emergo has brought for us. And when we have new partnerships or new collaboration or synergies, we'll certainly let the community know about that. On the marketing front, I talked about the Deeper Connect Air and the new KOLs that are being onboarded. We have KOLs of all different sizes, some mega ones in there as well. And so that's going to help a lot. We're really hoping for the market to turn around because that surely brings in a lot more people. Right now, the market's kind of uncertain and we can never predict it. But hopefully things turn around and everything lines up. And, we've been advertising a lot. Depending on where you live, you might have seen some of our Facebook ads as well for Deeper Network. And so we're expanding our advertising into other platforms, such as Twitter, Google, different ways to reach different audiences. So our product, I think, is very attractive, not only to the people in crypto, but for the mainstream users. And that's what we want. We want to expand the network through the usability of our device. That's what attracts them. All right. Let's see here. Next, I'd like to talk about decentralized physical infrastructure network projects like us. So the biggest DePIN project I would say in the world right now is probably Helium. Okay. Helium has gone through some changes. They expanded a tremendous expansion during the last bull run, and everyone was mining helium, right? So with these projects, obviously, like, people do it because they want to mine, they want to earn passive income, and they want to have these devices to earn their money. However, a lot of people don't understand that when you're an infrastructure project, it is massive in terms of what it can actually do in the world. Okay, just to give you guys an idea, bring up some data for you guys. So we are the second largest DePIN project in the world. Okay, just under Helium, with over 100,000 nodes. When you have nodes that reach these sort of numbers in the thousands, you're able to do so much. And so, what we're shooting for, we're shooting long term for the millions of nodes. Okay. And so, for example, like China, for instance, they were one of the main drivers of the 5G network. Okay, so that's infrastructure, 5G network infrastructure for mobile phones and different devices around the world. Okay, so they pushed that, and from 2017 to the end of 2021, they had grown 1.425 million 5G base stations. Okay, around the world, and it costed them 184.9 billion yuan. Okay, I don't have the conversion with me here, but it's a lot of money. Okay, so governments spend a ton of money on infrastructure, and they're not as efficient at it than a project like Helium or us. Okay, or Deeper Network. So to give you guys an idea, in comparison, in contrast, when Helium was being deployed, they had 833,000 small base stations. Okay. And instead of from 2017 to 2021, which is 4 years, they got 833,000 base stations in just 31 months. Okay. And it covered 175 countries, right? Because everyone were doing it themselves. They were installing these devices on top of buildings. And so it maintained, and they're currently still on maintaining about 30,000 units per month. Okay. So when you compare DePIN projects like us and Helium to governments, it's a huge deal, because governments, once they start understanding this, they'll start to see that they're not able to do it as good as projects like us. And so if they can't beat them and they want to save cost, they'll join them. Okay. So it's very, very possible that governments will eventually use or lease Helium hotspots in order to accomplish what they're trying to accomplish. Okay. It could be a hybrid between their ecosystem as well as DePIN projects. And that's very likely, right? And same for us. Same thing. All these devices that you guys have and that we currently continue to sell, we have great sales expanding into new areas around the world, and we're having new warehouses. And I'll talk about that. We can talk about that a little bit later. But in terms of DePIN growth, governments will certainly start to notice, and that will benefit the project massively. Okay. So with DePIN projects, I think it's not a typical crypto project, which is based on tokenomics and marketing and different things. We're actually building something useful that's going to be able to accomplish what thousands of other services are going to be built upon. Okay, so I want people to understand that. Okay, all right. Moving on to some of those markets I talked about. Let's see here. All right, so we've been expanding quite a lot into some of the Middle East regions. As people know that so in terms of sales, we've been seeing increased sales in those kind of regions where censorship is quite strict and harsh. So let's see, where else? So countries like the UAE, we have new partnerships in the US as well. That's helped expand and make things more efficient as well for our logistics. Okay. Our Amazon shop has also been launched. So that's near completion. And as people know, Amazon is a very mainstream platform, so it'll give us a lot of exposure there. And we've been doing over the past few months some giveaways, some fun ones regarding Father's Day. We're coming up with a new one. We're going to be doing a huge giveaway for the launch of the Deeper Connect Air as well. Okay, so some of the things you can look forward to over the next few months. All right. Well, I think that's all I have for now. I'm sure I'm missing something, but maybe I can have some people ask some questions if they have any. Let's see. You can raise your hand. Yeah, I found this thing for DPIN. Decentralized physical infrastructure networks can hyperscale faster than any traditional project at a fraction of the cost. Okay, so this says it a lot better than the way I said it. By being distributed among the network participants and offset by future growth in revenues. Okay, so if you look at how governments do it, like the US with NASA, right? They used to have their own space shuttle program and their space program. Now they're starting to realize that if they do it themselves, it's going to cost much more money and they're not going to do it as good, right? So they're starting to, with SpaceX and other countries, and they're trying to work together now. So it's kind of the same idea, right? And one of the things that we're trying to do is to continue to lower the cost of our devices. If we could give it away eventually, that would be even better. Okay, so it's not even so much about making money on the devices. We're trying to. It's about like Tesla. Okay, so for instance, what I'm trying to say is Teslas are still kind of expensive, right? So Elon Musk is actually trying to lower the cost to the point where, ideally on paper, if he's able to give his cars away and just charge for fees, monthly fees, kind of how our apps work, that would actually be a huge expansion of his network and his company. Okay, so for Deeper Network, if we're able to reduce the cost to nearly free, and we charge for monthly subscriptions for services and for different things that they use, that is a business model that we're kind of striving for. Okay, so we're not really wanting to be in hardware sales, but instead we want to be a service. We want to be the infrastructure that everything else is built upon. Okay, so that's what DPIN is. All right. So I don't know if you're interested in it. We will talk about Deepin a little bit more at the Polkadot hackathon. I know our engineer, head engineer, will be giving a speech on that as well. So a lot of forward thinking and things that are happening right now, even at bad market situations like this. Still a lot of stuff happening. Well, we started at 11. These are pretty much the updates that I have. If anybody has any questions, feel free to raise your hand. I know this time might not be the best for everyone, so not everyone is here, but it is going to be recorded so people can listen to it later. If you have other questions, you could feel free to shoot me a message on Twitter, put a question under a comment, and I'd be happy to try to answer some of those things. I'd love to have engagement on Twitter. So I just saw the launch of a new kind of platform, competitor of Twitter called Thread by Meta, right? They just released that, I think, today. And so that'll be interesting. I think there's too many platforms, but definitely too many centralized platforms. I think we could have more decentralized platforms. And eventually we'll have that at Deeper. I know in the beginning we talked a lot about decentralized YouTube, decentralized email and chat platforms that are going to be integrated into Deeper Network, and that certainly can still happen. Right now, if somebody wants to, they could build it on the Deeper chain through our decentralized edge computing platform. And there's already on GitHub, our developers have written tutorials on how to do that. Most of the stuff written on the Deeper chain, which is built on Substrate, same as Polkadot, is all written in the Rust computing code. So Rust is a lot of people, most people do Solidity. And I think Rust is becoming more and more popular as well. All right, well, I feel like I'm blabbing by myself here. So if there are no other questions, I'm not going to waste your guys' time. And we can call, we have one person, Deeoer. I'm going to invite to speak. Hey, Deeoer, do you have a question? You're muted.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Good. Yeah.
I have a question regarding for Deeper Network, or you could answer for it or the Deeper team. When I was in the recent MMA for Functionland, my question is that when I was at the recent MMA, I asked them about Deeper Network's DPN technology, and they said they haven't been in contact with anyone from the Deeper team. They said they only heard negative Functionland.
Blockchain land?
Functionland.
Function. I don't know who that is. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, it's a new Web3 crypto project. I just asked them about Deeper Network's DPN technology, and they said they haven't been in contact with anyone in the Deeper team. So they only heard negative news and rumors from the public from Deeper Network. So they wanted to know if someone could contact them from the Deeper Network core team. It seems It seems that Functionland was in their genesis phase for the miners. And also, my question is, will there be a potential collaboration with Functionland? Is my question.
Okay, Functionland. I don't know anything about this project at all. That's probably why they haven't heard from us. But I'll be in touch with you, Deeoer, and maybe you can intro us, and we can talk about what kind of synergies that we could possibly have. Yeah, we're always looking. I think in the crypto space over the last 6 years I've been in this space, there's a lot of partnerships and collaborations. I think is pretty BS, right? It's like marketing. It's just like, oh, this and this, and we're collaborating. But what's really happening? There's not much happening. It just looks like there's a lot of stuff happening, right? I think when people are building, they don't even have their 2 feet firmly on the ground, and they're just thinking about collaborations. I think that is not the right way to do it. So Deeper, we're trying to build our foundation, get our feet stabilized and firm on the ground before we start reaching out to other people. There's a lot of small projects out there that do that look like they're doing something cool now, but then they're not around six months or a year later. So even if we collaborated with them, it was just a waste of time, and that's a huge waste of resources and money. Okay, I don't know anything about Functionland. It could be a great partnership or collaboration, but I would need to find out more about them. So yeah, I'll reach out to you, Diego. Thanks for that. Thanks for looking out.
Oh, no problem.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yep. Anybody else? I mean, it doesn't have to be about Deeper. If somebody has questions about the market or want to discuss or just share their 2 cents, feel free to raise your hand. It's always great to chat with people. I know Diego's a Deeper Knot. He's been in the space for quite a while and a huge supporter of Deeper Networks. So really appreciate that. All right, well, if there's no other, here's another one. Every time I say that, somebody wants to. All right, we got 2 people. So we got Ani El Horaini. For those of you that don't know who he is, he's the one that came up with the best Father's Day joke about. He had a great dad joke that we had shared. I'm going to invite him up. And then after that, there's a Zho 3RD that I will invite up.
Hello, Eric, and hello, everybody. Thank you for giving me a voice. I just wanted to say thank you for nice Pico. It's making good work. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, I already recommended the service to all my family. So everybody's using this.
Yes. I know so many people that really need our devices, but it's hard for them to get it. Some countries like India, which is they're in dire need of kind of decentralized VPN. They have poor courier services and postal services, so it's very difficult to get our products to the end user in India.
Yeah.
And then we have countries like China and people who are strictly censored. They can't even get it. So then they're trying to basically like quote unquote smuggle it, through other channels. But there's a huge need for it. And you probably know. I forgot where you lived, Ani. Where are you from?
I'm living right now in Netherlands. However, my family that it's mostly using the service. It's in Palestine. And as you know, the Israeli occupation right there, it's also occupation on the internet. So they can prosecute you over what you speak there.
Right. So you can see why, people living in the U.S. and inferior countries, they don't understand, the censorship and how serious it can get. But there's a huge need for that all around the world.
Exactly.
I know in the U.S. though they do care a lot about their privacy, and that's really good. That's really important as well, because that's been that's certainly an area that centralized platforms have really taken advantage of over the last 10 years.
True.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you won the Pico and you're enjoying it. And thanks for always being such a great supporter.
Thank you. Thank you also. Have a good day.
Take care. You too. All right, we got Zho.
Yes, hi. My name is Sjoerd. I'm also Dutch, like the other guy.
Nice.
I'm part of the Genesis block, so I got one of your, I believe, silver miners at the beginning. I have a bit of a comment on the production products itself. Please do like a decent quality check on the products, because like the little ventilator in there, it was I think after I don't know 3 months it stopped ventilating, but I don't have any temperature problems even without a little fan in there.
Yeah,
it's still working, you know.
yeah.
But yeah,
Should I
and
respond
it
to
made
that?
a lot of noise too at the beginning.
Yeah. Stuart, I know the Genesis were one of our earlier products, and we had put a fan in there. But the fan and how the revolutions, it was too fast and it burned out. And in our new devices, like our Mini, our Pico, and the Air, they don't have any fans, and they don't really need it. So, but I'm glad that it's not overheating. The fan was that whole thing was a year or 2 years ago. It was such a pain in the butt. But a lot of people sorted it out, and it ended up to not be a huge issue, just kind of more of an annoyance. And if we would have known from the beginning, just vent it a little bit better and don't even need a fan. That's the thing.
Yeah, just a plain cool rip. I joined a bit later. I heard you mention out about the Genesis block. You're kind of stepping out of it, or I didn't hear all the details around it. But I'm hoping you are going to keep the whole tokenomics and crypto thing alive within Deeper. I'm hoping.
Oh, absolutely. DPR is basically going to be the gas that runs the ecosystem. So the mining is always going to be there, but the mining itself, we're moving towards NPOW, and maybe when you have time, you can go back and listen to the stuff I talked about regarding NPOW, and also the details about Genesis ending August 28th. So those details are in the recording, but absolutely, the tokenomics and the crypto aspect is certainly in there, because that is really going to be the foundation of the sharing economy. I mean, why would people want to share if they don't get incentivized, right? But we're trying to make it so that the company and the minting of DPR is not being paid out by us. Eventually, services and people who are looking for solutions will come to the network and pay you guys who have the devices directly, peer to peer, for your services. Basically, you guys are service providers, every one of you, and they want you to help them. So, for instance, NPOW, one of the things I talked about was the price oracle aspect, but there's some gray areas that people take advantage of. So, like liking videos, right? You can have your IP like a video on YouTube, and these people who are searching out this kind of service, they maybe need 100,000 likes on their video, right? And there are services out there that already do this, right, through bots and whatever, but that's all like fake IPs and whatever. But using your real IP, you can get paid, to other people who need that kind of service, right? And you have full control over that if you want to participate or not. And these are tasks that you can look at individually. So I don't know if you understood kind of what I just described. It's a little bit of a new concept, but that's a Web3 task that people can do under NPOW.
Okay, well, sounds really cool. But like, what does it mean for me as a Genesis holder? Do I get for example, I paid like, I don't know, what was it, 3,000 euros on staking. Do I get the stake tokens back, or how does that work?
Absolutely. Yeah, when Genesis ends, you unstake and you get those tokens back in your wallet. So that's absolutely still yours. I did talk about price of tokens right now, and everyone hopes the price will go up more, and I do think it will, because we talked about the high emissions because of Genesis and a lot of other things. But yeah, of course, those stake tokens are yours. You can actually even unstake now if you wanted to, So you guys have the freedom to do that.
But I looked at it, but then it said that I would lose my Genesis stake,
yes, of course.
and I kind of had a feeling like this is giving me some sort of a surplus, so I didn't want to lose that surplus edge. If there was any, I didn't know for sure, So I kind of like, okay, I don't want to unstake because I don't know what the consequences are for it.
Right. Well, the consequences is you'll stop earning Genesis rewards, which are very high. As high as 90% APY. So most people stick on, but people can unstake anytime, and nothing's gonna be lost. You'll get your tokens back, and you can do as you please. For people also, staking on Atom OS is now back live. So people who want, who just purchase new devices or something, they can actually go and stake directly on Atom OS. So that was put on hold for a while updates were being done, but it's already live again. I hope that answered your question, Stuart.
Yeah. So yeah. Thank you. It means that I will keep earning deeper, even regardless that it's gonna stop. But the Genesis part. But
yep, you will, and because you staked a lot more in Genesis, and you will continue to earn under basic mining when the transition happens after August 28th. The difference in the token staked will actually also be put back into your wallet. So you can stake, basically you can mine at 800 credit, full credit score under basic mining, and then still have tokens returned to you to your wallet. Does that make sense?
Not really. Does it mean that I still get the same amount of tokens then for every APY seen?
Well, no, because Genesis APY is much higher than basic mining, right? So you'll be earning less tokens, but you won't have as many staked either. So, and then you'll get the difference in tokens that you staked for Genesis. You'll get those back. Like, we're not going to keep those, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah. It's in a smart contract. Like, we don't have custody over it anyways.
Okay. Well, too bad you're going to change the model. I'll be honest. I did like the model the way it is right now. But you guys probably have your reasons for it.
Well, sure. We need the project to survive. It needs to be sustainable. I mean, if we're doing 90% APYs for the remainder of the years ahead, that's not going to be sustainable. That's going to be a lose-lose for everyone. We're trying to build much more than that. And that was something that we did to have the first spurt of growth in the project and get the network going. It's basically a jump start. And it worked. And it was great. And, good things come to an end. And it's been 2 years. So I think it's taken a toll on the tokenomics aspect, but we'll recover.
Yeah. And the market will hopefully go back up because this winter is becoming a long.
That's brutal. It's totally brutal. Yeah, but we're starting to see things. I think with regulation and stuff, it's gonna have a lot more clarity, and I think that will help it. Even though the regulations right now, I think, are a bit harsh, and there's a lot of manipulation going on. So everyone, do be careful on the markets. Don't get too excited. Don't FOMO just yet.
Yeah. Thank you for taking my questions.
My pleasure, Stuart. Thank you. And have a great day in the Netherlands.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Ani has another question. Or was that? Oh, that was just a buy. I saw a hand fly up. All right. Let's see. Oh, I see some questions in here. Just noticed them. Let me look at them. Any way to sync settings between devices and even to from the app, or maybe a backup restore function so we don't need to configure multiple devices multiple times? Currently, no. The devices are kind of separate. There is no kind of a central dashboard that'll control all the devices. And I think most of that comes from the security aspect. So I think when you're able to have a dashboard that controls multiple devices, it opens up a lot of security issues. So currently, no, we don't have that. The app itself, the apps actually don't run on your own device. The apps work on global devices around the world. So if you're living in the Netherlands and you're connecting to a tunnel on the app to the United States, it's actually connecting to a node in the US, and that's how you're kind of getting the service. Eventually, users will have to pay to use the app and for the service. Naturally, it'll be cheaper than VPN. It'll be better than VPN, and with the NPOW, the payments from the apps will go directly to the users that they're connected to. So that's kind of how that sharing economy will work. Okay, will there be a kind of vetting process in place for NPOW dApps? The vetting process is the users, and that's the beauty of decentralization and open source projects. If Deeper Network was vetting everything, it basically becomes a centralized project. So when you have no vetting process and people build dApps, if it's a good dApp, people use it, they love it, it will continue to get improved, and more people will use it. And that would be a total win. But if somebody builds a terrible dApp and it's filled with ads and weird things going on, nobody's going to use it, and it's just going to die. So that's the answer to that. Will you have to stake to use NPOW? No, you won't have to. So the staking thing, as you guys probably may have heard, staking is probably going to be somewhere on the radar of the SEC and the regulators somewhere down the road. It makes things become kind of securities, right? So staking, I think we're trying to move away from in terms of staking is great for tokenomics, but we have to think ahead. We have to think further ahead. And NPOW is really going to be more of a you guys as a service provider, and then we're going to have people who know the services we have and be able to order these services directly through the system, and then it'll be all automated and and it would basically use you guys as the service provider and pay you guys directly. So that's how how NPOW will work. So you'll get paid, and once you offer your services to the person needing it or the company needing it. Okay, you guys are the infrastructure. When will you finally do some action to improve the DPR price? It is constantly falling down. Would be the time for the team to stop letting the early investors down. Don't just say it is the market. You really don't do anything for the tokenomics. Well, I don't think that's true. Deeper Networks is not a huge company. Okay, so I think a lot of people in crypto are used to big cap projects buying up their own tokens. They're doing a lot of market making. They're using up a lot of their investments and a lot of their resources in order to manipulate the price of the token. Okay. I mentioned earlier in the beginning that token price doesn't really bother me, okay, personally. And I'll tell you why I think this. Because we're in this for the long run. We're building infrastructure. I want to try to get as many DPR tokens as possible and hold on to them until the project is mature. And that's when you really make it. Okay. If you're looking for short gains, then invest in meme coins, right? You're really investing in a vision and an idea with the Deeper Network, not in short-term gains here and there. Okay. That's other projects are kind of like that. And so we're different from that. And yes, it is frustrating to see the price go down. I totally understand it. But the mindset, you have to change your mindset. And once you change your mindset, you don't become bothered by it as much, because we're continuing to build and we have the tokenomics in mind, right? That's why we have the council, right? And have the burning mechanism that's going to help the tokenomics. That's why we're ending Genesis, okay? Because of the high emissions of minting of DPR and the sell pressure that will relieve a lot of that. The EZC that's coming down the road, right? The NPOW, the EZC, by the way, is the burning of DPR to create credits so that you can use the services in the ecosystem, right? So when you're burning tokens, simple tokenomics, when there is less circulation, the price of tokens will naturally go up, right? And POW, these are all services that's going to be used. So we absolutely have, but these things take time, and it takes time you're not going to see immediate results. And we don't use our resources on market making and manipulating the price, because it's just, that's short-term stuff, when you do that, it hurts the project really. And so my recommendation is don't put your house on anything you invest, because that sort of money that you might need to pay the rent or whatever might need to be in there for a long time before you see returns. So, but it's a great question. I understand the frustration. I've been there before as well. But I have a lot of belief in Deeper Network. Amazing things that are happening here. If you got here late, I recommend you guys to go back and listen to all the stuff we talked about. We have our bi-monthly report coming out soon as well, and so people can read through that. Just keep posted on us. Our blog has a lot of great updates as well. Stay connected on Twitter. If you don't follow us on Twitter, definitely do that. Follow me on Twitter at Hello Eric Ma. And yeah, let's see. Any other questions come in? We have a bot. We have a scammer here saying, anybody have info about that money-making bot everyone's talking about? Anybody? Hate that. All right. I don't see any other hands, any other requests. If not, we've been talking now for about an hour and 15 minutes. I know a lot of people that are going to be listening don't want to waste their time. All right, well, let's wrap it up. It was a great update. I'll continuously come back and give you guys new updates when we have them. We'll periodically do AMAs. I'm always reachable on Twitter. You can always message me, send a comment underneath one of the posts. I like to do little polls, try to interact and engage there. We do polls on the Deeper Network Twitter as well. And to visit us and follow us on other platforms, Facebook, Instagram. They're all kind of done a little bit differently and provide different types of info and the way it's presented as well. And share information with your family and loved ones and friends. A lot of people are looking for solutions to some of their problems, and Deeper Connects certainly solve a lot of their solutions. Anywhere from cybersecurity, having a enterprise level cybersecurity at home is more important than ever. A lot of people who travel, great gifts to give them a Pico or an Air, Deeper Connect Air when it comes out. And if you have a small office, a lot of times you can't afford, Cisco grade level cybersecurity. Certainly can afford a mini for your small office. Also the parental control aspects, the network protection, and the decentralized VPN that can be accessed through every device on your network. And of course, there's the upcoming growth of the ecosystem itself with the multi-chain wallet and the different dApps that are going to be built onto the Deeper chain. And and then earning rewards. So a lot of stuff happening. Thanks everyone for joining, and let's end it here. Have a great day. Bye-bye.